Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. For those of you joining us in different time zones, I want to thank you, first of all, for attending this quarterly webinar. Super excited for the content that we are going to present here to you today. A couple housekeeping things. Everybody is in listen-only mode. We have all the lines muted. We do have quite a few attendees at this webinar, so we're really grateful and excited about that. But we do encourage questions, so please use the chat window. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please enter those in there, and throughout the webinar, I will be watching those, and we will answer them as they come in, and of course have some time at the end as well. Joining me today, who will be the stars of the show, we have Tina Davis, who is one of our Software Solutions Data Analysts, and we also have Tracy Coleman, who is our Software Solutions Service Manager. So welcome to both of you. And please make sure you stay to the end of the webinar. We will be drawing for a $25 Amazon gift card for those who are in attendance today. With that, Tracy, Tina, I'll turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kurt, and thanks everybody for joining us. I'm excited as we get closer to longer days and spring. So definitely appreciate your time today. And as we dive into the content, we're going to look and focus specifically on M-Files reporting. A lot of you that I see in the webinar today are customers that already have reporting, but may not be optimized in utilizing it completely. Tina's going to take us through various use cases and illustrate a variety of different reports through her demonstration. We'll wrap up, as we traditionally do, with letting you know of the latest M-Files release updates, and then sharing with the group our e-learning platform and really how you can continue to stay current with the changes and feature updates that M-Files is making, and some of our e-learning videos that we have out there for your use. So with that, let's dive in. And really begin with what is reporting. Reporting is an avenue to really be able to present real-time data to not only admins of the system, but more importantly, leadership and end users of M-Files. This data that can live in M-Files and be exported and filtered upon really can be the source of the construction of the data in order to provide you a visual output of the represented filtered items. It really helps you analyze the business processes through these charts and graphs. So as we know, when we use M-Files every day for not only collecting the documents, but really helping drive different processes through workflow and through even connections of data to other core systems. Using M-Files reporting, again, you can grab a hold of that visual representation real time, giving you those key metrics from whatever you are looking for, exporting them from M-Files, the vault, or various vaults to be able to display the data back into the M-Files system. M-Files reporting also has a management component to it. It provides a holistic view of the utilization and processing metrics. So you as an organization can make changes to things where you are finding bottlenecks, maybe in a particular workflow, an invoice processing, an onboarding component. You can really see, again, firsthand where things are going well, and the alternative where you can target the improvements to better allow the organization to serve your customers. When you're using SQL reporting services, the reports are embedded in that standard M-Files client interface. You have the ability to print and export those reports in various formats, Word, PDF, Excel, and even just providing a link to other users are all options available to you. The most important aspect of any data in any system, and M-Files is no different, is making sure that we have protection into the security around the data. So no different than how you can set permissions throughout M files as it pertains to objects and documents and metadata, that really precipitates down into the reports that are generated and having the ability to really set your security as necessary. So only the people who should have access do have access. So what can you do very high level? First and foremost, you can create multiple data sets. You may have various departments using M files. You're not restricted in any sort of way of how many reports you can create and what data you want to be reporting on. You're really going to set your parameters based off of filtering that data. So no different than how you're constructing advanced searches today or constructing views. You're going to use that same logic to really start formulating what kind of data you're going to be handing off into the reporting services to build the reports that then feed again back into the M-Files desktop client. One of the biggest benefits, depending again on the use case, and Tina will speak to this, is not only can you run these reports in the data extraction piece on a scheduled basis, but you have the ability to position it more of a manual feed or an ad hoc run of the job. So anything from maybe you're facilitating a warehouse process where you need instant data represented in order for those parts or whatever the scenario is to be produced. You also could potentially be leveraging reporting to some aspects to facilitate an audit need. Maybe you don't need that data to be as frequently processed to bring those reports to your external parties. Another area that M-Files can help, again, giving you really the data aspect of the history. How long did something take within a particular workflow process in a particular state? How many version changes are we going through? All of those timestamps and really the user interaction of those can also be something that M-Files reporting can accommodate for. So how is M-Files reporting really constructed? And for those that are visual, again, just a representation here today of how the component of the extract happens. So all configuration takes place within the M-Files administrator. That is where the configuration for your data sets is configured to not only what you're looking for, but how often you want that data to be extracted. And it's extracted by the M-Files reporting data services. The reports are then rendered and displayed by means of Microsoft SQL Server reporting services infrastructure. So it hands off to Microsoft SQL. And I do want to note here that you can use SQL Express to help facilitate the processing of that data. It does not need to be enterprise SQL by any means. An M-Files report or M-Files and or report administrator is typically those individuals that are setting those data parameters, defining that extracted data set, and then again, you can extract that process either manually or on a schedule, which then ultimately feeds back into the M-Files desktop client. What are the required components? The reporting module, very important to know, can be activated with any M-Files deployment. So you don't need to be running on a particular version. Again, most of you today are on subscription platforms that are taking advantage of monthly updates. That is completely compatible, and you can activate it. The M-Files server and desktop components are required. As I mentioned previously, the Microsoft SQL Server and reporting services, SQL Server, again, can be running in Express. Visual Studio and Report Builder is used to actually lay out the report and any of those graphical displays that you would want represented. .NET And again, just another note here that SQL Server Express is definitely possible. Relatively small amounts of data that are just being pushed out and processed back into the mFiles desktop. So with that, I'm going to roll things over to Tina, but before I do so, I want to take an opportunity to answer any questions that may have come in since we've started. Kurt, anything currently?
No questions so far, but please make sure you ask any questions in the chat.
Wonderful. All right, Tina, I'm going to send control over and turn it over to you.
Thank you. See if it's coming there. There we go. Wanted to make sure I got it. Coming over. Hi, everybody. A lot of you I know I've seen in the past quite frequently, and some of you are brand new, so welcome. It's kind of fun to be able to share the fun stuff that I get to do. With Tracy's presentation there, she talked about a lot of stuff. High level, what the reporting module gets you is the ability to export your mFiles metadata out of mFiles, and then it also can send that data to any OLADB database. We very specifically use SQL Server. It also allows you to unlock the ability to view the reports in the mFiles interface, and those reports that are able to be pulled in are SSRS, or SQL Server Reporting Services reports, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Not going to get too much into the technical details. I just really want to go over options for you guys and different kinds of reports. My first set is going to be accounting. Just so you're aware, I'm going to do accounting, some HR, manufacturing, and then if we have time, I might go over some just kind of mock GIS data using Power BI. We'll see how quickly we can get through some of this stuff. For accounting, a lot of you are used to being able to see a little bit of data in mFiles. And what we can do with the reporting is export that data and do, this is very basic counting. This is an example of a report or a test of a report of how many invoices, say, a CSR approves throughout the day. Very basic, could be some sort of dashboard just to keep on track of what's happening. I have it filtered by date, so reports can filter based on created date or any date value that is in metadata. So this one happens to be a start and end date, I would assume of created. So we can also group the data. So here we've got it grouped by the CSR and how many they did. None of them are doing very well as far as approving invoices, but that's okay, it's just a tester here. Next, if we wanted to drill into those invoice reports and maybe see a little bit more information about them, make this bigger so everybody can see it a little bit. Whoa, that's really big. Practice with this guy. All right, we can see here, I added another filter to this guy up in the top left. Sorry if it's a little bit small. A vendor. So not only can we pick like a start date and an end date, but maybe we want to put what vendors we have available for our invoices. So the first one was a count of how many invoices were approved, and now we can actually get a listing of those actual invoices. Here we also did some math on the invoices, so you can see the vendor total for this specific time frame per vendor is listed above. This also can bring to light any issues that may be going on that you're maybe not aware of when you just see the metadata and you're just kind of flipping through invoices, approving, moving on. For example, this Marco invoice here, get rid of everybody. You can see how this works as well. Update it and we can see Marco's invoices. This first one is 300, but every other month was 200. Wonder, what's going on there. That's interesting. This is like kind of a higher level. And now what I did is built another report to go a little bit deeper. So maybe we want to see these by GL line item. Get a little bit bigger. So we actually can drill down even more. This one is going to add the GL line codes as well. So you can actually put in just specific data for the line items. Maybe you want to see what's going on with just advertising expenses, et cetera. And again, this can be used broadly across the board, any metadata property. But we wanted to see what was going on with that Marco invoice. So if I remove all the filters except for Marco, we can pull in their specific invoices. We can see these are all 200, 200, 200, and we have this one 300. We can see here that the bank charges are actually $150, and every other bank charge was $50. So there might be something going on there. If we actually click, we can make URL hyperlinks to go to those invoices. So maybe I want to check this one out and see if it actually was $300 or if there's something wrong with that one. You can come in, it brings you right into M files. You can see here it does have has an advertising expense and a bank charge of $150. That could be right, not quite sure. Preview it. Oh, nope, it's supposed to be 200. So this just got a missed number on it. Update it quick. Now it can be approved and moved on. So it's just little things like that to bring light to things that you're maybe not necessarily seeing. One other piece I kind of, Tracy had mentioned something about being able to export these. I wanted to show you how easy that is as well. And any of these reports that are on your page, you can right-click on them, and you get lots of different, pieces of data here. You can export them to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, or a data feed. RSS data feeds are a little out of date, but if you have one still running, you absolutely could do that and have it kind of on a continuous basis. Right now I could do a PDF and just kind of show you what it looks like. Depending on how you built it, can make it look pretty snazzy. And then these could be sent to customers or vendors or whoever you need to send them to use them out of M files. All right, that was like the first little section. Does anybody have questions on the accounting piece?
Nothing so far. Perfect.
All right, we will move on to a little bit of human resources. Some of this might be review. We did do this, I couldn't believe it, it's been like 3 years since we did a reporting webinar. We did this one about 3 years ago, so not a whole lot's changed, but I still wanted to give you guys ideas and thoughts on some of the stuff that we can do. This employee information card is a card that we built a little while ago. This is kind of an example of a single report format and not a spreadsheet format. A lot of the reports that I do for customers and or they build themselves are kind of a spreadsheet format. Everybody wants to see the data. The last few I showed you were kind of spreadsheet. This is like a single report. It has sub-reports in it. So this is actually like other metadata. This is an emergency contact object. This is the documents that they've received. And then this one also has training, so it's got their competence levels listed. A little bit about their personal data. A lot of customers use some of this employee information to build like telephone contact lists and call lists. But this one is just specifically showing information about this person, which is kind of nice because if we needed to send somebody maybe to Norway, we can come down and see that this person speaks Norwegian. Quick, easy, good to go. A lot of customers also would like to see employees that don't have specific documents, and that is actually a pretty large request by many customers. That is possible. This is very simply a report that shows employees that don't have documents. You can export all the documents, export the employees, match them up in SQL and say this employee doesn't have any documents, list them. This could be anything. This could be W-4s, this could be medical records, anybody that's missing specific documents. But this is just a quick look. If I click on this person, it can jump to their employee card. And underneath here, we see there are no documents listed for this person. So maybe it's drilling down to a specific class. I want to see what this employee doesn't have. That is possible, very simply just showing you there. Our next one is employee vaccination records. when the whole COVID issue came up, Marco was required to start tracking our COVID vaccinations for our employees to make sure that they were allowed into certain facilities. Not necessarily Marco itself, but there are medical facilities that we work for that do require to have a vaccination in order to walk in. Some sort of reports like this, which is also similar to kind of that reverse lookup, gives you an idea of who has all received their vaccination or whatever else you need to be looking for. And if they have no record, then we know that we wouldn't want to send Harry into Mayo Clinic or someplace where they are requiring those. Graphs can also be filtered and chosen from. You see here we've got kind of, can filter it by year and what types they receive. And if you saw that, it was a little quick. Maybe I can add them again. The vaccine type will actually change based on the year. So I have these kind of subset filtered. So once I get rid of that and just click off of it, you can see that the no vaccine has disappeared. So if I want to see everybody from 2020, simple as that, put them in. You can see Alex has both. And we can also see seasonal influenza has more vaccinations than COVID currently does for 2020, which kind of made sense. I don't know if we had the vaccine at that point. But for this purpose, just showing you that a graph can also be manipulated along with all this fun data on the top. All right, and then the last one in HR is another one that a lot of customers request and like to have. See if I can zoom this one to full screen as well here. It is states and workflow transitions. Everybody always wants to know how long it took from state to state, the transition that it took, the time to finish, that kind of thing. And yes, it is possible. So here we've got resumes that were actually brought in from a website. This one came in as a new application from an external source, which was the website, what time it came in, and then how long it sat in that state was 9 days and 20 hours. That was when Tina switched it to interviews scheduled. And you can kind of see the process of all of these, how long it took each of these to go through their processes and kind of where they sit now. You could put on the last one, I suppose, today's date and put in how long it's been sitting in this specific state. But I just wanted to let you know, yes, it is possible. It's a huge question that I get from a lot of customers. All right, I think that is it for the HR piece. I was going to switch to manufacturing. Kurt, were there any other questions in there? I haven't been looking at that part.
No, not yet. You must be covering everything.
Well, we'll see, hopefully by the end here. All right. I would like to make a special thank you to Mark at Precision Tool. He is allowing us to show some of their actual production reports and dashboards that they currently use. They are a manufacturing company. They build stuff and they use M files for almost their whole process. They have a very large implementation of M files, and we've done a lot of reporting for them and really wanted to kind of showcase some of what we've done. These are all of their reports, but we're only going to show a couple of them here. The first one is another nice single-page report. And what I'm going to do is have kind of a fake process that we go through. This isn't actual data, which you will come to see shortly. But what they actually have is called a corrective action report, which means something went wrong with something that they were supplied, something they created, something that went to a different customer, whatnot. They actually have a process and a workflow that these go through. So if they get something that was bad or broken, they can actually go into M files, build a complaint, give a description of what happened, who found the problem, why it was found, when it was found, and a little bit more about it. Hold, please. They also have a corrective action workflow, so it'll go through kind of what it can do to get fixed. This widget had mold on it, and they needed to make sure that the next ones don't have mold on them. This is assigned to Dave Gerhardtson to figure out how to fix this and figure out what the root cause was. Looks like this may have happened while these widgets were sitting in a cargo ship over on the West Coast waiting to be brought in. They ended up getting mold on them. Long-term corrective action would be to speed up the supplier and check the widgets as they come in for mold, and discard them and send them back if they do. So this is just kind of an interesting little process they go through, and they do send these. So they would either export this to a PDF, or they would just email this to a customer directly, or the suppliers, and say, you know, what happened here. Oops, sorry. And it is a very nice, pretty report. Again, one of those single-page reports. And if they had multiples of them, they could just print them all off nicely. So that was kind of the first one. After they create that DMR, they would need to create a new sales order to get that processed and sent out to the customer. So they have also a sales order kind of tracking report. This specifically isn't necessarily showing anything super fantastic that we haven't seen yet, but we have start dates, end dates, the current state that this sales order is in. So you could come through and pick some that are, you know, haven't been approved yet, that are, you know, completed, who the representative was that started this, the customer, the type of class you're looking for, and what category. This one, we have a new sales order set up for widgets without mold. Make sure that we get them. They need 200 of them. And this is a quick way to see that, looks like there's 100 on back order. Our estimated ship date is 2 days from today. We probably need to figure out how to get more of these, or hopefully they come in from back order shortly. If we want to see the status of these widgets, maybe we have them working on the floor. We got somebody, you know, building widgets like crazy trying to get them done. We actually have another report for that. They have an orders to ship report. This also shows what sales orders they have they're working on. So they've created a work order from this sales order, who the customer is for, who it's being shipped to, the sales rep, the current order number. This line item is, you know, widgets for automation of technology. We want widgets without mold, please. The ship date, looks like we need 200 of them, back ordered of 100, and they're scheduled. What they also have included is they have what are called sequences. And they use sequences on the floor to keep track of where the orders are and what they're working on. So we actually have it open here so they can see the sequences if they're finished, where they're at in the state. So that's another export of kind of the state process of all these fun reports. How many they have ordered in this sequence. Looks like 100 were completed, so that one's ready to go. This one's still in process. I bet this is where our 100 are back ordered. So it's just kind of a quick view of things. You can also click on any of these, so we can jump to this sequence and see where it's at. Estimated hours of 50, took 25 hours. That's awesome. But this one's still in process. So kind of an interesting use case that they have for this. They're using accounting and all their manufacturing in here. So I know they've got a lot more, but it's hard to cover it all in our little webinar. Looks like we're probably doing okay on time. Are there any other questions yet, Kurt?
No, there's not at this time, Tina.
Cool. All right.
Which is odd.
So,
I thought there'd be a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, right. That's okay. We will get some with this here. You know, a lot of people have heard the Power BI talk. Everybody keeps talking about Power BI. Power BI, it's awesome. It is. It's very cool. It is another tool very similar to SQL Server reporting services that we can use. We can export data to SQL just like you would normally, and then we can actually pick it up with Power BI similar to the SSRS report builder. Once it picks up the data, it does need to be sent up to the cloud, and that's kind of where Power BI lives. So you'd have to set up some sort of connection there. We don't have super expertise in that area at this point, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of the metadata that we have exported and kind of what it could look like in your environment. So this is, see if I can make it full screen here. Power BI has the ability to make the spreadsheet data, or city, states, and zips, sorry, into like GIS mapping. So what's really cool about it is this stuff is easily kind of drug onto the screen, moved around, and it is dynamic. So we have those filters that I was showing you on the other ones that you kind of drop down and you pick and you choose. With Power BI, you can actually just click on the report itself, and it automatically filters it down and shows you the data instantly on the map. So it's really cool. If you re-click on something, you can, anything you click on, basically it filters it down instantly. So what's really cool about the GIS is we actually have another customer, I'm not sure if they're on the call, but if they are, hello, that does public data for professional engineering and land surveying. And what we could do is potentially have these list, which is public data, and they could have it show up where they need it. So if you wanted to, how do I reset this real quick here? If we wanted to, we could zoom in to where we lived, and maybe we're looking for a professional engineer of some sort in Stillwater or in Maplewood area. You come in, see that this person is there, and it automatically bring up who it is. Really kind of a cool application, and I just wanted to show it a little bit, not necessarily showcase it in general, but just make sure that people are aware that that is a possibility, and it's pretty cool. I did have one other Power BI report that I built here. We'll see if I can get it to show up. And this just shows a little bit more of what it can do as well. So here we've got receipts by employees. So if people are purchasing with the company credit card, this is kind of an export of what department they were in, what they were doing for that receipt to be paid the employee, and then the year that they purchased it in. You can see by same difference. You can click on any of these line items, and it brings up the information on the chart. You can pick a couple of them, and it pulls up the information and just automatically filters it. Very cool. You do the same over here if you wanted to pick all 2020 or all 2021. It just automatically filters. Very cool program. M-Files doesn't have support for it to be able to be viewed in M-Files quite yet, but it is possible for people to use it. And I was going to show you one other thing. I apologize. Let's see which vault that was in. I have a link. It might be in this one. Oh, nope, it's accounting. All right, so a way to get to these Power BI reports would be to actually embed the link into all invoices. This is also a way to do SSRS reports. I have done this for actually internal Marco a little bit and a couple of our customers. But basically you can pass some of these parameters. So if you're familiar with calculated fields in M-Files, you can build this hyperlink out as a calculated field. And what you can do is when you click on it, it would automatically pull up the report and pass the parameter. So this one passed Marco Inc. in because that was the vendor that was on that specific metadata card. It filtered it all out and is ready to go. So this could be the same with Power BI. You could put the report link in M-Files and jump to it, but there isn't a way currently to embed it like an SSRS report where it's actually just in M-Files. But I believe you can also email them. So lots of different ways that you can kind of utilize the reporting module. You can also pull in other data. It doesn't have to be just M-Files data. So if you have an ERP system or something that you're not using with M-Files specifically, but it's got a lot of valuable data on it, you can easily kind of merge that data into some sort of report, pull it through, and show it in M-Files as well. So I think that is pretty much it for what I wanted to show. I'm going to hand it back to, I'm not sure if it's Tracy or Kurt.
Perfect. Thank you, Tina. Very valuable, and hopefully just by illustrating a handful of the use cases that we have found, people requesting, it really kind of gets wheels spinning, and the ability to really take the data, again, that is residing within M files, and bringing it up to the finishing touches, working with that dynamically through those reports. So as we wrap up, and actually before I do that, Kurt, I just wanted to double check with you. There were no other questions that have come in since relevant to reporting.
No, nothing has come in.
Okay, perfect. So let's wrap up to show the updates. I just checked actually this morning. I was hoping that the update for March would be released. We're coming up on that next week. But coming actually back into December of 21, we had the fourth quarter webinar prior to, again, that release. So these are available out on MFile's website, but I like putting them in the webinars here because, again, this is recorded and available to you guys for a future state. So in December's update, you can kind of browse through here, see some of the updates that they've made. Making some changes within MFile's web, allowing multi-server mode within the compliance kit. Moving into January releases, again, they continue to enhance the utilization of multi-server mode and connectors that are available in the solution. So if that is something that would apply to your configuration, please take note of that. And as we walked into February, and probably the most recognized update by customers that we've worked with is recognizing that the icons have been refreshed. So if you are one that sets certain state or value list icons, you now have a new look and feel of collection items in there to be able to set. And then some custom icons in MFile's web. So again, because we are running subscription model, you guys every month will have the opportunity to really stay current and achieve the benefits of these updates if you allow them within your network to push across your clients. Definitely encourage that. Seeing a lot of good things on the horizon, with just a continuation of enhancements within the product. And it's nice to be able to see those come real life and quickly within our customer base. As we close, I want to roll things back here to Kurt. As always, we are here to help, whether you have questions in regards to MFile's reporting specific to this webinar, or have ideas of where you want to use MFiles or maybe your capture solution as you look to continue to grow in different areas of the organization. Again, you're not limited by how many vaults you have, who can use it, and what kind of modules you end up leveraging, such as reporting. So definitely want to hear from you, and you can engage our support team directly. I've listed that email and support number up here. That will get you access to our entire team, ranging from break fix to consulting to individuals like Tina, who is awesome in working with the data side and getting these reports at your disposal. All right, in closure, Kurt, if you could pull the lucky winner.
Yep, I will do that. And we have had a couple comments, not questions, but comments in the chat about good information, exciting opportunities. If you do not have the reporting module and it's something you're interested in getting more information on, if you do not know who you should reach out to, you can always reach out to that software@marconet.com and we'll get the appropriate person to reach out to you. Or if you know who your software specialist is, you can also reach out to him or her as well. And typically with the reporting module, it is a very affordable add-on to MFiles, which typically has an ROI in weeks rather than months or years. So with that, Tina, Tracy, thank you very much. Very good job. And we'll do the drawing here for the $25 Amazon gift card. And the lucky winner is Michelle L. So congratulations, Michelle. I will send you an email to confirm, and you will receive the electronic Amazon gift card here in the next couple days.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us, and we look forward to having you join us in the second quarter. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.